fund taps a large corpus of money from diverse investors. So बहुत सारे investors है mutual fund के पास, and they can get a large number of money, so a huge amount of money. So for example, there are 1,000 customers, and 1,000 customers, if they are investing say 1,000 rupees, so the mutual fund manager would have 1 lakh 10 lakh rupees to invest. So they tap a large corpus of money from diverse investors, and they raise money to invest in various projects or pay for various expenses. So we have seen mutual funds are also financial intermediaries where they collect money from people and then they invest in profit making projects. So that is what the mutual fund does. They keep a check on the operations of the investee company. So we've seen that when you buy equity shares of a company, you also have a voting right. You can also have a say. Mutual funds, because they have a lot of money, they can have a large holding of for the company, and they can also advise the company on their working. There are various taxes which the investors have to pay when they are investing in mutual fund, and this will boost the revenue collection of government through taxes and other means. Promote further economic development and nation building. Can somebody throw some light here? How can mutual fund help in economic development and nation building? What role can mutual funds play in this? Hello? Can somebody explain this? Can somebody throw some light on how mutual funds can help in national economic development?
Financial intermediary, ma'am.
Correct. So they are financial intermediaries. So what happens? What is the end result of financial intermediary?
Help in the flow of money.
Correct. Yeah. So they will collect money from people who are in surplus and route it to people who have better use for this. The way the banks do. So bank usually give out loan, but mutual fund can also invest in equity. So they act as a source of capital generation for various projects. So they promote further economic development and national building. They act as market stabilizer in countering large inflows and outflows from foreign investors. So this is very important. If you're reading a newspaper, you will see that India capital market has been very stable. Now it has been stable because you have large number of retail investors investing in the market. So earlier what used to happen, India is a developing economy. So a lot of foreign institutional players would come and invest in the Indian market. However, they're very sensitive to small changes. So for example, one party loses election. So they think this party might not be that good for business. So they will just take their money back. What will happen if they take their money back? So they've invested in the Indian markets. If they take the money back, what could happen? अगर अपना पैसा निकाल लिया तो क्या होगा?
The growth of economy will slow down.
The share market will fall. So share market is dependent on demand and supply. If there is huge demand for Indian securities, the market will rise because a lot of people are investing, so the market would rise. If a lot of people are selling, the market would fall. So foreign institutional investors would take out their money and the market would fall. However, if large number of retail investors are invested in the market stabilizes. So people like you and me are long-term investors. हमको पता है हमारा this is our country. We are not going away. The country is not going away. So little ups and downs don't affect our investment in the mutual fund market, in the capital market. So we keep on investing, right? So it stabilizes. That means we are not taking out our money. So the market remains stable. So mutual fund investment acts as market stabilizer in countering large inflows and outflows from foreign investors. And they are key participant in the capital market of any economy. Now, mutual funds invest in various securities, and based on them, they have various schemes. So for example, there is one scheme which invests only in equity because the investors are looking for growth. So that will be known as equity scheme. Then there is another scheme, same mutual fund, different kind of investors would want to invest in debt securities. So they will have a debt scheme. Then there are investors who want to take the middle path. They want growth as well as they want some kind of security. So instead of investing all the money in equity, they will invest some money in equity and some money in debt. So that will be a balanced fund. So these are known as schemes, right? So different mutual funds have, have different schemes. Schemes are their product line, right? So for example, if you're going, you are going grocery shopping, right? So one grocery store will have many different kind of products, and you can choose it depending on your personal choice, right? So for example, if you go to buy a bread, the grocery store would have a white bread, he would have a sandwich bread, he would have a wheat bread. You can choose the bread as per your choice. So same is with the mutual fund. So mutual fund has different kind of schemes, and the investors can choose depending on their personal liking. They have different investment preferences, and therefore they collect different pools of money. And each pool of money is called a mutual fund scheme. So mutual fund company is the company which runs these schemes, and in that company they will have different kind of schemes. A schemes which invest in equity, a scheme which invest in debt, or a scheme which invest in real estate, in scheme which invest in gold. So they will have different scheme, and investors based on their preference can choose the scheme they want to invest in. Each scheme has a pre-announced investment objective. When investors invest in a mutual fund scheme, they are effectively buying into the investment objective. Or what is objective? What do you understand by the word objective? Objective का क्या मतलब है? What is an objective?
Goal.
Goal or the end result, right? So different kind of investors will have different kind of investment objective. So somebody who's retired, what will be his investment objective? So he has some money. What would he want to do with this money? What he would be looking at?
Profit.
Children have settled, he's met all his responsibilities, in his 60, he has retired. What will be his investment objective? Why will he invest?
To double his money, ma'am.
So he will be looking at regular income.
Yes, ma'am.
He's not bothered too much on the growth of the income, growth of the money. What he's looking at is that he should get some regular income. So his investment objective would be regular income. Then compare it to a person who's like 25 years old, just started working. What will be his investment objective?
Profit.
You would be looking at profit. You would be looking at capital appreciations, right? So different kind of investors will have different kind of investment objectives, and therefore different kind of schemes. So a retired investor will not buy into a scheme which is looking for too much of profit, because as we have seen, risk and returns are directly proportional. So if he's looking for too much return, he will probably have to take too much of risk, which he doesn't want to, because now he's retired, he doesn't have a source of income. So he wants to use the money he has to earn regular income. He's not interested in too much of growth, because he's fulfilled all his responsibility. He doesn't need money, any huge amount of money, right? So he would not, his investment objective is regular income, compared to a 25-year-old whose the objective would be to get capital appreciation. So depending on the objective, the customer can buy into a mutual fund scheme. And the mutual fund scheme have to announce their objective before they sell it to the customer. So the mutual fund has to announce the investment objective. Each mutual fund scheme has to announce the investment objective, and then again the suitability will come. So different mutual fund schemes will have different objectives, and you as financial advisors have to match the objective of the customer with the objective of the mutual funds. So again, relationship management and KYC plays a very huge role here, because the choice of the investment of the scheme will be dependent on the profile of the customer. Okay. Making sense? Is it making sense? Mutual fund is making sense to you guys? समझ में आ रहा है क्या है mutual fund? क्या है scheme type?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, no, maybe. Are you guys
Yes, ma'am.
understanding?
Yes,
समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
The concept is very simple. Here, the fund manager is collecting money from various investors and investing it in the market because he knows exactly how the market works and what will give you better returns, right? So, mutual fund scheme announce their investment objective and seek investment from the public. Each investment that the investor makes in a scheme is translated into certain number of units in a scheme. So units हमने देखा is a small part. How much does I owe in the scheme? So for example, the total scheme, the total money in a scheme is 3,000, and there are 3 equal investors. They have invested equally. So how much each investor will own? 3,000 rupees. 3 investors. All investors have invested equally. What will be the share of each investor?
1,000.
1,000. Correct. Right. So that is the contribution of the investor to the scheme. So the contribution of the investor to the scheme is known as units. And each unit by statute or by law has to be 10 rupees. So how much units will each investor have in this? In the example I gave you, 3,000 rupees. 3 investors, 10 rupees per unit. 100 units. Each investor would have 100 units. Yeah. So unit represents the holding or the share of the investor in the scheme. So an investor in a scheme is issued unit of in the scheme. Okay. Now in mutual funds have very high liquidity. That means the customer can redeem it whenever he wants. So somebody was asking me this question. Yes, mutual fund has a lot of liquidity. So the investor can withdraw his money anytime he wants. So redemption allowed at any time. Investors can also benefit from short-term returns. You know, for example, if you look at the stock market these days, it is rising every day. So even if people have been stayed invested for, say, a period of 6 months, investors would have been benefited. So investor may benefit from even short-term investments. Entry to and exit from the fund are based on fluctuation in the financial market. Return depend on entry and exit point. So return is market linked, just like in ULIP. No. So for example, the easiest example to understand is gold. I'm sure your grandparents or especially your grandmother will tell you that she bought gold at the rate of say 7,000 rupees per 10 grams. Right. So that was her entry point. Right. If she wants to sell it now, how much money will she get? How much money will she get? Hello.
55,000.
I'm sorry. How much? All of you say you want to be bankers. You're not updated on the gold price. Don't you read?
It's about 48, ma'am.
It is around 48,000. Yeah.
48, yes.
Yeah. So the entry point was 7,000. Exit point is 48. So what is it? What does it mean for your grandmother?
Profit.
Making a profit. Yeah.
Profit.
Had she bought it at gold at 50,000, it had reached 50,000 also sometimes. So if she had bought it at 40,000, what would it mean? It would mean loss.
Loss.
Correct?
of
Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah. So the return will depend at what time you bought the security and at what time you are selling the security. So if the market has risen, is increased, then you will have a profit. Otherwise, you will have a loss. So it's very simple concept of mutual fund. Mutual fund is basically investment in the market through a fund manager. The return obviously will be dependent on the performance of the market. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, advantages of mutual fund. So one of the advantages which we spoke about was the advantage of professional management. So you have a fund manager who is doing the investment on your behalf. So you have access to professional fund manager expertise, right? And you also have liquidity. So we have seen you can enter and exit mutual fund at any point in time. So you have liquidity also. So it's not that if you're investing in mutual fund, your money is stuck. You cannot come out of it. That's not the case. You have enough liquidity in the mutual fund to be able to, liquidate your investments. Right. So a large portion of portfolio is maintained in cash by the fund manager to maintain liquidity and allow for redemption. So ऐसा नहीं कि जितना भी पैसा कलेक्ट हुआ सब जो है फंड मैनेजर मार्केट में लगा देगा, मैक्सिमम लगा देगा, बिकॉज अगर नहीं लगाएगा तो रिटर्न नहीं आएगा आपका, बट ही विल कीप सम पोर्शन इन लिक्विड फॉर्म आल्सो कि अगर किसी इन्वेस्टर को रिडीम करना है दैट पर्सन कैन रिडीम इट. So this is the benefit of mutual fund. You are getting benefit of professional fund management, and also you have enough liquidity to be able to convert your money into cash anytime you want. So these are the advantages of mutual fund. Right? Now म्यूचुअल फंड में भी दो टाइप के म्यूचुअल फंड्स होते हैं, एक ओपन एंडेड होते हैं और एक क्लोज एंडेड होते हैं. देयर आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ म्यूचुअल फंड्स. One are open ended and the other are closed ended. Right? Now open ended mutual funds, you can imagine you are sitting in a hall or a big room and anybody can enter and exit anytime. So it's like when you go for weddings, for example, the people are coming, then they're getting bored and moving out, then getting some fresh air, and then they come inside again. So anybody can enter and exit at any time. Those are open-ended mutual funds. There is no restriction that you can't get out, or you can come in and go out anytime you want. So those are open-ended. So the door is open. Anybody can enter and exit anytime. Okay. So entry and exit, it's a going concern. There is no closure. So investor enter or exit anytime after the NFO. NFO stands for new fund offer. The way we have an IPO. Now, what is an IPO? What is an IPO?
Initial public offering.
Initial public offer. What does it mean? It's not very clear. Can somebody tell it clearly what is an IPO?
Issuing new securities.
When a company is issuing new securities, it's known as IPO, right? Similarly, when a mutual fund is coming up with a new scheme or issuing fresh units, it's known as a NFO or new fund offer. So if you bought the units in the new fund offer, you can sell it to the fund manager anytime. You can redeem it with the fund manager anytime. Those are open-ended funds. So the scheme continues operation with remaining investors, no time frame in which is to be closed. So it's a going concern. That means हमेशा चलती रहेगी. आप कभी भी enter और exit कर सकते हैं, है ना? अब कभी भी कोई भी enter और exit करेगा, तो obviously जो total money in the mutual fund will vary. So जो मैंने आपको example दिया, एक you have gone for a wedding. There is a very big hall, and people are entering and exit. So at any given point in time, the number of guests would change. So you might have 10 people, 2 people got bored and they left. So you'll have 8. Again, 3 people came in. So now you will have 11. So the number of people in the hall will keep on changing because there is no restriction. Anybody can enter and exit at any time. So the number of people will keep on changing. Right? So that is also in the open-ended fund. So open-ended fund, anybody can enter and exit at any time. So people have entered. So 10 people have invested. Now 2 people want their money back. So now you'll again be left with 8 people. Then 4 people want to buy the unit. Then you'll have 12 people. And obviously the unit or the total money also will keep on changing. Right? So, so the ongoing entry and exit of investor implies that the unit capital is the total money in the scheme, will keep on changing on a regular basis. Clear on open-ended funds?
Yes, sir.
Now, open-ended funds, people can enter and exit at any time. So the unit capital or the total money in the scheme will keep on changing. On the other hand, you have close-ended fund. Close-ended fund would mean a fund where, you can imagine it like a room where after a certain time, it is closed and then nobody can enter and exit. And especially if, I don't know how many of you go to see plays. So अगर आप play देखने जाते हैं, that is what happens in a play. In a movie theater, it's something else. But if you go for a play, because the actors are performing online, like they're live, so they get disturbed in case people keep on moving, So when you go to see a play, they have a cut-off time. After that, they don't allow anybody in. Okay, only after Act 1 or when there's a break, they will again open the door and people can now go out or people can come in. So close-ended mutual fund is also like that. So after a cut-off date, no other person can enter and no person can exit. So you can't enter and you can't exit. So what will happen to the unit capital? Will it change or will it remain constant? If people are not allowed to
constant, ma'am.
remain constant, because you're not allowing fresh, fresh investment, and you're not allowing redemption of the investment. So your unit capital will remain same. Okay. However, but then, people will not invest because if there's no liquidity, people will not invest. So the units of the closed-ended mutual funds are listed on the stock exchange to provide liquidity. However, the unit capital remains constant. That means people cannot redeem their units with the fund manager. They can sell it in the secondary market. So it's like similar to your CD. If you have seen in the CD cannot be prematurely closed. But if you want to create liquidity, you can sell it in the secondary market. Same is with the closed-ended fund. So closed-ended fund, you can't go back to the fund manager saying that give my money back. What you can do is you can sell to create liquidity. You can sell your units on the stock exchange or in the secondary market. So those are two types of mutual funds. Mutual funds where entry and exit is allowed anytime. Another kind of mutual funds are where you cannot enter and exit at any time. You have to keep invested till the redemption date, till the lock-in period. Okay. So they have a fixed maturity. After an NFO, investors will have to transact only through the exchange. Post NFO, sale and purchase of units happen to and from counterparty in the stock exchange and not to and from the mutual fund. The unit capital of the scheme therefore remains stable or fixed because nobody is entering and nobody is exiting. Correct? Understood? Open-ended and close-ended. Now the combination of this is interval funds. So interval funds will work as open-ended sometimes and they will work as close-ended sometimes. So for example, they'll say for 1 month we are close-ended. Nobody can enter, nobody can exit. After 1 month, we will open for 15 days. Then you can buy and sell. But again, we will become close-ended. So interval funds are combination of close-ended fund and open-ended funds. So unlike a purely close-ended scheme, they are not completely dependent on stock exchange to be able to buy or sell. They have an interval period in which they will remain as open-ended. So minimum duration of an interval fund, interval period of an interval scheme is 15 days. Units have to be compulsorily listed on the stock exchange to allow investor to execute. So because liquidity has to be there. If they are not liquid, people will not invest, right? So the fund manager will have to provide, you will have to list it on the stock exchange for liquidity. Then you have what is known as active fund and passive fund. Now, active passive, we have read it in grammar. So you remember active voice, passive voice? Anybody remembers what is active voice, what is passive voice?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is active voice? Or what is active?
Current.
Sorry.
Correct?
Current
What is
funds.
correct?
It is
So-
said directly to the person.
Correct, correct. And passive is indirectly, right? Right. So active, and if you look at active person and passive person who's like in action mode all the time. Passive is who's like things and then works, right? So you can have mutual funds also like this. So you have active mutual funds where the fund manager constantly keeps on monitoring the mutual fund investments and keeps on changing it. Whereas you have a passive fund manager who will decide that this is my investment strategy. So I will invest like this. And then he does not change it. So small movement in the market, he will not change. Yeah. So for example, he decides that it's an index fund. Index fund means it is investing in the index of the market. So he will not change it. He will keep it like that. So you have in mutual fund, you have active funds and passive funds. Active funds are funds which have a lot of activity where the fund manager changes the strategy depending on the market. Whereas passive fund, the fund manager does not make too much of changes. So mutual fund have actively managed funds are funds where fund manager has the flexibility to choose the investment portfolio. The investment manager can act within the broad parameters of the investment objectives of the scheme. Since this increases the role of fund manager, the expense of running the fund turn out to be higher. Investor expect actively managed fund to perform better than the market. Because here the fund manager is constantly on his toes and looking at how he can get better return for the investors. Then you have passive funds. Passive funds invest is basis of specific index whose performance it seeks to track. So thus passive fund tracking the BSE Sensex would buy only shares that are part of composition of BSE Sensex. The portion of each share in the scheme portfolio would also be same as weightage assigned to the share in computation of the BSE Sensex. Thus, the performance of these funds tends to be minor and mirror the concerned index. Since the portfolio is determined by the index itself, the fund manager has no role in deciding on investment. Therefore, these schemes have low running cost. Then you can also classify the mutual fund investment based on where they are investing. If they are investing in equity, you call them equity funds. If they are investing in debt, you call them debt. If they are investing in both, then you call them hybrid. Okay. Hybrid means more than one asset class. So equity is a scheme might have an investment objective to invest largely in equity shares or equity related instruments like convertible debentures. The investment objective of such funds is to seek capital appreciation through investment in this growth asset. Such schemes are called equity schemes. Then you have debt schemes with an investment objective that limits the investments in debt securities like treasury bill, government securities, bonds and debentures are called debt funds. So simple. Funds which are investing in equity, unko equity funds bolenge. Funds which are investing in debt, unko debt fund bolenge. Hybrid is a combination of more than one asset class. So hybrid funds have, who is joined now? Gitika.
Yeah. Hi,
Gitika,
Shikhi.
hi, hi. Okay, hi. So you have want to have a conversation with these guys?
Yeah, so yes, you please complete your session, or whenever it's time, we can
Yeah.
intervene in between.
Okay. So my session would finish at 1. So we have around 25 minutes to go. And after that, you can.
At 1, I think okay.
It was
Sakshi-
yesterday, no? Yes, not day before.
no.
Wednesday we had the session, no?
No, today with this batch.
So Sakshi send me a message for.
Because we got this link from her itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
1 minute. Just a minute. Just give me a minute.
Sure, please. I'm sorry to break your rhythm in between.
No, that is okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
No issues. Tomorrow, actually, she sent, she sent me a mail on 14th saying that tomorrow we will have. So I had ended that session on 15th. I had ended on 12:30. So if you want, I can end the session. No problem. I can just wrap up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just.
Will this be okay for you?
Yeah. Fine. No
Yeah,
issues.
all fine, sure.
So yeah. So this is what the mutual funds can be further classified as equity, debt, or hybrid. Equity will be the scheme which invests in equity instruments like shares, and debt will obviously invest in debt instruments. I hope by now all of us know the difference between equity and debt. Tripti, can you tell me the difference between equity and debt? Tripti? Or Vipin? Vipin, tell me the difference between equity and debt. What is the difference?
Ma'am, equity is equal partnership in business,
Okay, good. And what is debt?
and ma'am, amount of money owned.
Both are amount of money. Both are ways to raise capital.
That is a loan.
Debt is a loan. Yeah.
Yes,
So debt is a loan, whereas equity is equal partnership in the business, right?
business.
So
Yes,
you can
ma'am.
have different kind of mutual fund schemes. One scheme can invest purely in equity, purely as shareholders. The other scheme can give a loan to a company or to government. So those are debt mutual funds. Then you can have a third type of mutual fund, which is known as hybrid, where the investment would be both in debt and equity. Okay. So I think I'll end the session here because Gitika is waiting. But I expect you to read it, do some research. आप mutual fund type करोगे, you will get lot of things on Google. Please read it and come back so that in case you've not still understood the concept, you understand it. And in case you have any doubt or questions, we can discuss it on Monday. So I expect you to go and study mutual funds and do some research on mutual funds, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay, fine. So I think we are okay, right.
Okay, thank you,
So in
ma'am.
the next class, we are going to look at financial planning, and we'll meet on Monday. But I expect you to use the weekend and revise what we have done throughout the week. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
I think Shikhi have left, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, good afternoon, everyone. How are you all?
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm good.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. So this is Geetika Gupta. Okay, along with me, my two teammates are also there. Rajat Arora sir is there, and Mr. Lokesh is also there. We as a team is going to inform you and will be your point of contact for your placement queries, right? Once you complete your course, then we will provide you the opportunities based on which tiering you are going to clear your final mock, right? How many have known us as we have interacted during the batch launch, I guess, not after that, right? This is our first intervention after that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So
Yes.
can we just have a quick introduction with you all, just about your name, your what is your qualification? Do you have some experience? Can we just have a quick introduction?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's start with Swati.
Yes, ma'am.
Swati, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Yeah, Swati, please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, myself, Swati Tiwari. I'm postgraduated from economics.
Postgraduate in economics. That means you have done MA or MCom?
No, I'm from.
MCom.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In which year?
In 2020.
2020. Do you have some experience?
No, ma'am. No experience.
You're a fresher. And which place you belongs to? Proper Lucknow or some other place?
Ma'am, Lucknow. Ma'am, Lucknow.
Lucknow only. All fine. Thank you. Priyanka?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
I'm
please.
Priyanka. I'm from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. I completed my BE in Electrical and Electronics Engineering 2016. Then I worked in a software company for 1 year. Then I got married and then I didn't work, ma'am. Now I want to restart my career. So I joined in the Immaticals.
Okay. And 1 year experience you have, right?
Yeah.
In which domain?
Software industry, ma'am, like software testing.
Software testing.
Yeah.
Okay. And your graduation is BE in Electronics and Communication.
Electrical and Electronics Engineering.
Electricals and Electronics. Okay, fine.
Yes,
Triple
ma'am.
A.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. GT Saran.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Sharan, ma'am. I live in Chennai, which is in Tamil Nadu,
Yeah.
and I have completed my BE in Electronic and Communication. I was passed out in 2019, ma'am.
2019. And do you have some experience?
I don't have any.
You do not have any experience.
Mhm.
So what is the reason for this changeover from engineering background to this banking domain?
Ma'am, I am not interested in engineering, ma'am. Any kind of job, so I plan to enter this finance.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Sonam Verma.
Yes, ma'am. Good
Yeah,
afternoon.
please. Good afternoon.
Ma'am, my name is Sonam Verma. I did my graduation in BA from Faizabad University, but I belong Barabanki and I'm staying in Lucknow, study purpose.
For study. You have done BA.
Yeah, ma'am.
BA in history.
No, ma'am.
Then
Hindi.
BA Hindi.
Yeah, ma'am.
All fine. And in which year have you passed out?
In this year.
So you are required to give your final exam, or your result is awaited, or what is going on?
Yeah, ma'am.
You are done with your exams and your result is awaited, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
When you are expecting your result?
Ma'am, last September.
September end. Okay.
Yes,
fine.
ma'am.
Okay, sure.
Okay,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Gautam.
Yes, ma'am.
Gautam Kumar.
Um,
Yeah, please
Yes, ma'am.
introduce.
My name is Gautam Kumar. I did my graduation in Bachelor of Arts in Hindi Literature in 2016 from Bihar.
You
Hello.
confirm, can you hear Gautam's voice?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, I can hear.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Ma'am, your voice is actually not coming.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry I missed in between.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Gautam was introducing yourself, right?
Yes, sir.
Please
Yes.
come up again.
Myself, Gautam Kumar. I did my graduation in Bachelor of Arts in Hindi Literature in 2016 from Bihar.
Okay. And from Bihar, you are basically from Bihar or from Lucknow only?
No, ma'am. I'm basically from Bihar.
From Bihar. And what about after 2016, what you have done?
I am working as a private teacher.
You are a private teacher. Okay. Which subjects are you teaching?
Hindi literature. At present, I'm poet and writer.
Hindi. Okay. So you are currently teaching currently, or you just have some few years of experience with you in teaching line?
Repeat your question, ma'am. Your voice is not clearly.
Yeah, I'm just asking, are you still continuing teaching or do you have only few years of experience in teaching?
No, ma'am. Only experience person. Purpose.
No. Experience of how many years? Till when you have you have taught?
6 years.
6 years.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Sharmila.
Yeah, this is Sharmila. I have completed my degree in BE Civil Engineering at 2016. After that, I worked 1 year in call center, ma'am. After that, I got married. So that's why I have to start my career in banking field. Like that's why I joined in Ematicus.
Okay. So during which year you worked in call center at BPO?
The year in 2017.
So 2016 to 2017 or 2017, 2018?
2017 to 2018. 2019 Jan.
Okay, fine. Sure. Okay, thank you. And you are from Chennai, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'm from Chennai.
All fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jayanti.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, myself Jayanti Kumari. I'm from Darbhanga.
Okay.
I did my graduation in Bicom in 2020.
Okay. And you are a fresher, right?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm fresher.
Okay. Thank you. Manoj. Manoj Kharavit. Okay, let's move to Vipin.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good
My
afternoon.
name is Bipin Singh. I belong to Gorakhpur and I did my BTech in mechanical branch from Gorakhpur and
in which year?
In 2020, ma'am. And I belong basically to Devariya and but currently staying in Gorakhpur.
Okay.
And I am fresher, ma'am.
You're a fresher. And why you want to change from mechanical to the banking sector now?
Ma'am, because banking sector is third largest sector in the world. So,
okay, fine. Thank you.
thank you, ma'am.
Bhagwat Singh.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Myself, Bhagwat Singh. I'm from Varanasi. I have completed my BCom honors from the University of Kolkata in 2018.
2018. Okay.
Yes. And right now I'm a fresher.
So what you have done after 2018, after completion of your graduation?
I went to Indore, ma'am, there with my cousin. They're working in a business. I mean, they work as self-business, so I worked there for 6 months.
For 6 months. Okay.
Then
After
after I came back to my home due to some tragic thing happened in my family.
Okay. So what sort of business experience do you have?
They work in supply of material,
What sort of material?
then aluminum and glasses.
Aluminum and glasses. Okay, fine. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Akshay,
Yes, good afternoon, ma'am.
good afternoon.
Ma'am, my name is Akshay Singh and I belong to basically Barabanki, but currently I'm staying in Lucknow, and I have done my graduation in BA in history from Lucknow University in 2020.
Okay.
And currently I'm pursuing for some certification in banking and wealth management from MRT Plus Lucknow branch. And I'm
Okay.
fresher.
All fine. Before MBA, what is your graduation stream is?
I'm not MBA, I have done my graduation BA, Bachelor in Arts.
Okay, you are a BA candidate, not
Yeah,
MBA.
ma'am.
All fine, sure. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, ma'am.
Anu Singh.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Ma'am, myself is Anu Singh. I am from Bihar. I completed my graduation in Bachelor's of Art
Okay.
in 2014. I have no work experience, ma'am.
In which year you have completed?
2014, ma'am.
2014.
Yeah, ma'am.
And you do not have any work experience.
Yes, ma'am.
Why this long gap?
Ma'am, family issues. My mother is dead. Sad. Ma'am, so family issues.
Okay, fine. Swati. Swati is there? No. Tamim also. Okay, Swati, yes, please. Swati have introduced herself, right? You have done MCOM. Okay, fine. Am I left with anyone? Tamim, I think I can't see him now. Kevin is also, I can't see Kevin now. Why these candidates have left? Any idea?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, no problem. All fine, yeah. So thank you for your introduction. Okay, so let me introduce about how the placement process will work for you. Though we have given a little bit idea initial during your batch launch, right? So how the placement process will work for you once you complete your course. This is a simple drift I'm going to tell you about, right? So as informed you earlier as well, you are required to work hard on your domain knowledge and on your communication part as well, right? Why I'm talking about domain knowledge, because definitely when you are going to enter into any banking sector, any banking division for either for operations or sales or any opportunity you will get, initially your domain will be checked out there. So the basic things need to be checked initially during the interview process. So be very clear and crisp on your domain part. If you're having some issues, if you're facing some difficulties, some topics you are not getting through, please check with your trainer immediately, and they are definitely going to help you out. Do not cook anything in your mind that yes, you can pile up your things. I'll ask later. I'll talk to her later. Please don't do that. Avoid all these things. If you have any sort of confusion, please reach out to your trainer immediately that I am facing this issue. Please clear this doubt to me, right? Your communication definitely should be very, very smooth and crisp and clear. Why so? Because your interaction will be directly with the customers, right? So you should be very presentable, right? Your communication should be that much efficient and convenient to the your consumer or your client, that whenever any customer is going to interact with you, you can at least clear them all the clarity what they are going to ask you. So your communication, I'm talking about the verbal English communication, written communication, everything. Why it is so? When you are going to apply for any job opportunity, you might have to go through a aptitude test, a verbal ability test. So you need to clear all those tests initially itself. That is why you still have sufficient time to you just work hard on yourself. If anybody is facing issue in the communication part, the verbal English part, the writing part, you have still sufficient time and you can prepare well on that part. You can ask Sakshi, your local governance, if to arrange soft skill sessions for you, so that they can guide you how you need to perform and what should be your body language, how you need to improve yourself, where you need to improve yourself, how you need to present yourself during the interview. All these things will be taken care. So if you are facing any sort of issue or difficulty in this, please reach out to your trainer or Sakshi that I am facing on these issues. Please clear my all these doubts right now. Yeah. So to be eligible for tier 1 companies, like if I talk about ICICI Bank, HDFC, Yes Bank, any Axis Bank, all sort of these banks have very their policies. They usually ask the students who have scored who are going to grade in themselves in tier 1 or tier 2 in your final placement mock, right? What is final placement mock? There is two different things. Number one is your grade book tiering. With this tiering will impact you and provide you based on your certificate will be based on your grade book tiering. But for the final placement mock will give you the tiering for the placement pool. That means you will get the placement opportunities completely based upon your final placement mock. If you are grading in the tier 1, tier 2 or tier 3, you will be eligible for the placement process, or else who are going to secure less than 50%, they are required to go for again for a remock, reappear for the process again. Once you clear the tiering, then you will be rolled out to the pool again and you will get the opportunities, right? Any confusion so far?
No, ma'am.
No,
Am
ma'am.
I clear on these points?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So why I'm talking about tier 1 and tier 2, because these companies will be taking care, looking forward for with some minimum eligibility criteria that this much be the percentage, and based on that they are going to interview the candidates. They are going to screen those profiles, right? So after the final mock, if by any chance, if any particular candidate is falling under tier 3 category and not into tier 1 or tier 2 in their final placement mock, they do not have an option to apply for the position of their own choice, right? So that means whatever be the opportunity we are going to provide you, all the candidates who are falling under tier 3 will be required to apply for that position, whether it could be a operation position, it could be a sales position, it could be into credit finance, it could be into the credit operation or any sort of operation or sales profile. You are required to apply for those positions. But in case the student who are falling under tier 1 or tier 2 in final placement mock, they will have that privilege that they can apply for the positions of their own choice. Okay, so try to be in tier 1 or tier 2 so that you will have that privilege that you want to apply for the choice of your own company. Right. Also be ready for a relocation. Why a relocation? As you all belongs to from very different parts and you are taking the classes online. See, banking opportunities are not like this, that you will get the opportunities in your city or in your region. It could be in North region, it could be in Delhi NCR, it could be in Rajasthan, it could be in Chennai, anywhere. It could be Bangalore or it could be UP also, but we cannot assure you that the openings will be only from your current location or nearby your location. So be open for relocation. whenever we are going to provide you any opportunity, you will get the details where the job location is also mentioned there. So apply accordingly and be open for a relocation. Because when you are going to, this is not a government job, or you are not going to get a government job or something that you will get something very near to your area. It is not possible all the time that any bank which is near to you will have opening available with them at that time. So wherever any position is coming up, try to grab that opportunity. And yes, later on, yes, you can internally, you can move anywhere, right? Number 3 is students who are not yet graduated. That means students whose interview is their graduation results are still pending. They won't get the opportunities until they clear. They are going to provide the provisional degree to us. So 1 or 2 candidates have confirmed me that they are writing their papers, or they have written their papers and the results are awaited. Those candidates need to submit their provisional degree to Ematicus team, and then based on that we will provide you the opportunities then after. Am I clear on these points?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the job opportunities will be provided. It could be in sales, it could be in credit card, banking operations, insurance operations, financial services operations. These sort of the opportunities you will get, right? You will shortly get the resume writing sessions also. So we'll be requiring your resume in Ematicus format only. Why it is so? Because what I am looking forward is majority of you are a fresher candidate, right? So be very precise how the resume need to be present, what should you be added in those things. So the candidates who are having a large educational gap in between, let me be very honest, there will be definitely will be an issue for you, because company is going to definitely ask and may not shortlist your profile initially itself because of this large gap, that why you do not have any sort of experience in between, right? So be open for that. Your resume you need to submit after approval of your trainer. Once your trainer will approve that yes, your resume is good to go, you can share those, upload that resume on Superset. I'll inform you later after your level 2 about the Superset process, how you need to register and enroll yourself, and how the opportunities will be given to you via Superset, right?
Guys, everyone in this batch is comfortable with English, right? Everyone can talk, everyone can write, everyone can effectively communicate.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Right, so everyone is comfortable. So I'm assuming this as a yes from all of you, right? That every one of you is comfortable with English as the primary language, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Also, Lokesh, what I would want you to do after the call, please, you remember we have a tracker. Now that particular tracker has all the intel in terms of the background, their education, their work experience, if they have any notice period as such, their year of graduation, their year of post-graduation, whatever, because it's important for us to understand the background of this particular batch before we go ahead and pitch it to any of the clients, or, line them up for any particular interviews going forward. So share the tracker with all of them, location, get that all information so that we all can have clarity and right visibility in terms of where are we heading towards.
I'll share with Gitika, and Gitika will certainly share with someone who have details of everyone.
So that tracker can be shared with the students, right? You just need to have, you already have the template of the tracker, right? So Gitika,
I have a tracker with me. I'll share with Gitika.
Just
so
share
that
it with
can
Gitika,
share
and
with
Gitika, you can float it across to the students so that we can capture all the details of that. Please keep me in the loop as well.
Sure.
Want to understand in terms of how this particular batch is positioned.
Sure, Manish.
Yeah.
So, students, I'm going to share this minutes of meeting with you all, whatever we have discussed currently and whatever I have informed you about. Along with that, you will get a tracker detail in the attachment, or it could be a Google form. You need to furnish all the required details in that particular form, probably by tomorrow positively. Yes. There is no any exception. All the candidates are required to fill those details. Are we clear on these points?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So, any queries from your side as of now?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Yeah, ma'am. I want to know one thing, that will the aptitude and verbal ability be conducted in every exam? I mean, in every interview.
I'm sorry, please. I missed
Must,
on
ma'am.
something.
Okay, ma'am. Is verbal ability and aptitude is must for all mock or for our interviews?
No, it is not mandatory. It is completely depends on client requirement. If any client is asking for those details or those what will be they are looking forward, or what would be their selection process, based on that it could be there. So we will give you an intel about during the at the
So it
time
can
of
be
job.
said that, yeah, ma'am, it can be rare part of an interview. It will happen
Yes,
rarely.
it could be a part.
Okay, ma'am. And one more thing, ma'am.
Yeah.
If I want a job in Gurgaon, then where our interviews will be held? In Gurgaon or in Lucknow?
See, as banks are, we cannot assure you as of now, right? Whenever you are coming into the pool, whatever be the situation at that time, it could be a virtual interview, it could be a face-to-face interview. Whatever be the things, we are going to intimate you prior itself, so that you can make arrangements accordingly. If suppose any position is open for a Gurgaon location, right, and candidate is belongs to Chennai or for Lucknow, all these details will be intimated you earlier itself during when you are going to apply for the position. So in the job description itself, we are going to mention what would be the possibility for whether it could be a virtual interview or it could be a face-to-face interview, right? So we do try that.
Okay,
Yes,
ma'am.
our client will
And
give
one,
you an intel initially itself, or probably in a day or 2 days before, so that outstation candidates can manage accordingly.
okay, ma'am. And one more thing, ma'am, I want to know.
Yes.
Ma'am, since when our interview is going to?
I think there is some problem with your internet connectivity, Akshay. Fix that up, please.
Okay, sir. Am I audible this time?
Lot better.
Hello.
Yes, a lot better.
Okay, sir. I want to know that since when that our interviews are going to be held, on which date, sir?
On which date? So, I mean, to answer it precisely and shortly, once you complete your program and once you complete your final certification exams with your mock scores, and once we get all the necessary details from the governance and training team, that is when you will be in our pool for the opportunities. So
Okay.
you will have to wait for the final exams to get over.
Just because of it, sir, that my counselor told me as that my interviews are going to be conducted in the last of October, and our course completion date is 17th November.
So before that, if your final mocks etc. are done, we will be able to do that. But again, it totally depends on what's your current position at that point in time.
Yeah, it's sure. Sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Nothing to worry.
Yeah. Any more queries? Any more queries from any candidate, please?
Ma'am,
Yes, Akshay.
ma'am, is it mandatory that we all shall get only 5 attempts to join the interviews?
See, we provide you, there is a default setting in Superset Plus.
Yeah, ma'am.
Initial 5 attempts will give you complete idea, though 5 is a big number. You
Yeah,
should,
ma'am.
you should grab the opportunity in initial 1 or 2 attempts itself.
But
So in
ma'am,
case if you are still not able to crack the interviews in 5 attempts,
yeah,
then you should work upon yourself that where you are lacking actually.
yeah,
Right?
where your
So
point
you
is
will
weak.
be requiring a retraining. Assess yourself that where you are lacking, work upon yourself, apply for a mock again, re-clear the mock, and then again you will get the opportunities later on.
Or just suppose that, ma'am, someone is not able to crack the interview,
Yeah.
and he's going to attend the class again. Then in that situation, will he pay the fee again, or in this fee he will be able to attend the classes?
No, not the attend the classes, but in case if you are facing that, yes, you are lacking on some
That might be, ma'am,
some
the ethics,
parts might be
communication.
not only on the complete domain, but on some parts you are lacking. So you can ask your trainer or your local governance that you are lacking and you need retraining on those particular topics. They are
Yeah.
going to provide you accordingly. You are not required to pay additional fees for the same.
Okay, ma'am. When that aspirant fulfill their own lacks, then he will be able to join the mock interviews again.
Yes, once you need to re-clear the mocks again
Okay,
with minimum
okay.
TRing T3.
And ma'am, is there any percentage or minimum numbers criteria to qualify the mocks? Is there any?
Minimum 50% is required.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
In your final placement mock, yes.
And ma'am, there are 4 mock tests going to be held.
I'm talking about the final placement mock. As I informed you, your final placement mock will decide whether you will be getting the placement opportunities or not, or you will be requiring a retraining. Right? So your final placement mock, that means after completion of your course, completely once you are done with your level 1, level 2,
Yeah.
level 3, there will be a final placement mock will be there, which will be a summarized form of all these level 1, level 2, level 3, plus whatever you are going to mention in your resume. So that will be, you can call as a final mock interview.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Now I got everything.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah. Any more queries?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Gautam.
During interview,
Sorry?
During interview, I can speak Hindi.
Try to avoid. This is my suggestion. Reason being, because initially your first impression is the last impression, I could say, right? So during the interview, once if the interview is getting comfortable with you, then yes, you can later on ask them if you are comfortable in Hindi and can you speak. But initially, yes, you shouldn't use Hindi. But every interviewer, any company, their initial premise, if the candidate is comfortable in both the languages, what they are going to meet the client as well as the customer. So their requirement and prerequisite is you should be comfortable in all the language, in both the languages.
Okay.
Yeah. Any more queries? Lokesh, you want to add on something? Just to give them some idea?
Okay, how many of you understand like how does NBFC works? आप लोगों को कितने लोगों को पता है कि NBFC क्या होता है और NBFC कैसे वर्क करता है? NBFC आप समझते हो NBFC क्या है?
Yes, sir. I understand.
Yes, actually, do you understand what NBFCs are?
So non-banking financial companies are Lucknow NBFCs.
Okay. Okay, Akshay, since you understand, I would like to others to elaborate this answer. What does the non-banking financial companies means? Anyone else? And be quick, right? Be prompt with your answers, because you know we are on a certain call where then after which we as in placement team have to get into some other meetings as well. So I'll request you all to to be quick with your answers. नहीं आता तो नहीं आता, कोई बात नहीं, आता है तो बोलो, जो भी आता है वो समझ में आ रहा है, जो भी आ रहा है वो समझ आ रहा है वो बोलो, मैं उसके बाद रेक्टिफाई करूंगा. Go ahead, Swati. Swati, you were saying something.
Yes, sir.
हाँ बताइए आप. NBFCs उन्होंने बताया नॉन बैंकिंग फाइनेंशियल सेक्टर, लेकिन वो होता क्या है?
Sir, I think not. They are institution not in a full banking sector. Financial institutions doesn't have full banking license. They cannot accept deposit, I think.
Sorry?
I think sir, they cannot accept deposit. Sorry.
I'm not able to get your answers. You can write your answer. Like Priyanka, can you help me with what are NBFCs?
Yes sir.
Yes sir.
Yes, Gautam will help me. Yes, Gautam.
वो लोगों का पैसा इकट्ठा करके फिर वो ऋण देता है.
ऋण देता है, ठीक है.
Yes.
किस तरीके से काम करता है किसी को पता है? Like Saran, GT Saran, can you help me out with this answer?
Yeah, the NBFC will not accept deposits like banks, demand deposits, which can be withdrawn anytime.
Okay, Manoj, what your answer is? Okay, Vipin. Yes, Anu, tell me.
This is NBFC banks like Muthoot Bank, IIFL, IIFL बैंक. इसलिए हमसे ये हम गोल्ड लोन पे देते हैं, गोल्ड देते हैं तो हम लोन देते हैं.
Okay.
Interest rate.
Basically act as an investment activity.
Investment.
Okay. इन्वेस्टमेंट बेसिकली ये हमारे लिए इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं होता. इन्वेस्टमेंट ये हमें तो लोन देता है. जो इन्वेस्टमेंट करते हैं वो अलग होते हैं, ठीक है.
Sir, they collect the money and invest in other activities.
They directly give loans from the public.
पब्लिक को डायरेक्ट लोन दे सकते हैं, ठीक है. जयंती, आपका आंसर. सोनम, आपका आंसर. ये भगवत, आप कुछ कह रहे हो? विपिन, आपका आंसर.
Be open, be open for a discussion, right? We are discussing. We are not taking interview or so that you are afraid of anything. Right? Just be calm yourself. Just be interactive.
अच्छा, सबसे पहले तो ये समझो कि एनबीएफसी का जो ऑपरेशंस होता है वो रूरल सेगमेंट में होता है, ठीक है. रीजन बीइंग, एंड जो अर्बन एरियाज है, अर्बन एरियाज यानी जो डेवलप्ड शहर हैं या गांव से जो थोड़े से ज्यादा डेवलप्ड है, वहां पर सब जगह बैंक्स पहुंच गए थे, ठीक है. अब बैंक्स पहुंच गए थे, जो गांव जो इलाके हैं, जो गांव में जो एरिया है, the areas which is remotely located, or the areas which comes the geographical region which comes under a village region, right? So there the people over there cannot read and write, right? तो वहां पे लोग बाग illiterate होते हैं. Those people cannot read and write, so they cannot complete the formalities which banks has to do, ठीक है. तो वो लोग वहां पर वो फॉर्मेलिटीज कंप्लीट नहीं कर पाते. तो ऐसे में एनबीएफसीज आते हैं, रूरल एरियाज में होते हैं. सबसे पहले आप ये समझ लो वो रूरल एरियाज में होते हैं, ठीक है. रिमोट लोकेशंस में ऑपरेशंस होता है इनका. इनके ऑफिसेज हो सकता है कि किसी ना किसी बड़े एक शहर में होंगे, हो सकता है किसी का ऑफिस बैंगलोर में हो, मेन हेड ऑफिस किसी का बैंगलोर में हो, किसी का हेड ऑफिस चेन्नई में हो, किसी का हेड ऑफिस हैदराबाद में हो, किसी का हेड ऑफिस दिल्ली में हो, गुड़गांव में हो, नोएडा में हो, मुंबई में हो. पुणे में हो, कोलकाता में हो, तो इस जगह पे किसी ना किसी के हेड ऑफिसेस होंगे ही होंगे, बट देन अगेन इनके जो ब्रांचेस होते हैं, जो सेंटर्स होते हैं, वो किसी ना किसी रिमोट लोकेशंस में होंगे, ठीक है। अगर वो किसी शहर के भी रिमोट लोकेशन में होंगे तो वो शहर के भी if they are found in the city as well, if in any other city, suppose say a branch of NBFC is in Coimbatore, so that Coimbatore branch will be located in such a place which would be a remote location of Coimbatore, okay। तो ये आपको समझना होगा। दूसरी चीज, अब यहाँ पे NBFC में क्या होता है, डायरेक्टली पैसा दिया जाता है और इंटरेस्ट पे पैसा वापस लिया जाता है, ठीक है। इनका इंटरेस्ट रेट जो होता है वो हमेशा बैंक से हाई होता है। द इंटरेस्ट रेट ऑफ द NBFCs आर ऑलवेज ग्रेटर देन व्हाट बैंक इज डिलीवरिंग द लोन, एट व्हाट इंटरेस्ट रेट बैंक इज डिलीवरिंग द लोन, तो हमेशा उनसे हायर रेट पे रहता है, ठीक है। तीसरा आपको ये समझना होगा अब इनमें क्या क्या फंक्शंस होते हैं। एक होता है सबसे पहला इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंक, अगर आप इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंक कह रहा हूँ सॉरी, NBFCs जो होते हैं उसमें स्टार्टिंग में सबसे पहले कौन आते हैं, एफओज आते हैं। अगर आप सोचो कि आपको एकदम से इक्विटी मतलब एकदम से ऑपरेशन लेवल की जॉब मिल जाएगी NBFCs में, तो आपको यहाँ पे थोड़ा समझना होगा कि NBFCs या कोई भी नॉन बैंकिंग फाइनेंशियल सेक्टर्स में आपको पहले बैंकिंग के ऑपरेशंस की अंडरस्टैंडिंग होनी पड़ती है, जो कि जब ये लोग हायर करते हैं तो वो इनिशियल लेवल से हायर करते हैं, ठीक है। तो यहाँ पे स्टार्टिंग होता है फील्ड ऑफिसर, सीनियर फील्ड ऑफिसर, फिर आते हैं ब्रांच ऑफिसर्स, फिर आते हैं ब्रांच मैनेजर्स। किसी भी NBFC के किसी भी पर्टिकुलर ब्रांच में कम से कम 4 से 6 फील्ड ऑफिसर्स होते हैं। उसके बाद होते हैं 3 ब्रांच ऑफिसर्स, उसके बाद होते हैं 2 ब्रांच मैनेजर्स, उसके बाद होता है 1 डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैनेजर। देयर इज 1 डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैनेजर हु हैंडल्स दी 3 to 4 ब्रांचेस एट अ टाइम, ठीक है। उसके बाद होता है क्वालिटी एनालिस्ट, उसके बाद होता है ऑडिटर। क्वालिटी एनालिस्ट का क्या काम होता है, he looks after the kind of communication which is happening between the between the NBFC's people, NBFC's employees and between the people who are demanding loan, जिनको ये लोग लोन दे रहे हैं या जो इनसे लोन ले रहे हैं। हमेशा NBFCs deal with women, ठीक है। एक चीज हमेशा ये याद रखना, NBFCs हमेशा women को लोन डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करता है, ठीक है। मैं आपको NBFCs के बारे में इसलिए बता रहा हूँ ज्यादा क्योंकि जब एट द एंड ऑफ द प्लेसमेंट्स NBFCs ही आएगा प्लेस करने के लिए, प्लेसमेंट लेने के लिए। आप ने जो प्रोग्राम सेलेक्ट किया है इसमें NBFCs, नॉन बैंकिंग फाइनेंशियल सेक्टर्स, बैंकिंग फाइनेंशियल सेक्टर्स, ये सारे सेक्टर्स लेने आते हैं। तो इस तरीके का आपको नॉलेज होना चाहिए, है ना। तो ये हमेशा लोन औरतों को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करता है। the NBFCs distribute the loans to the women, right? They don't give out the loans to the man. Biasness है, but then again this is how they work on. उसके बाद तीसरी बात, जो ऑडिटर होते हैं, मैंने बताया कि ऑडिटर होते हैं। ऑडिटर क्या करते हैं, ऑडिटर लुक आफ्टर द कम्युनिकेशन व्हिच इज हैपनिंग प्लेस between the between the people, between the village people and who are supposed to have the loans from NBFCs and between the NBFCs people. उसके बाद आते हैं quality analyst. Quality analyst looks after the logistics is available in the branches or not, proper stationery is available in the branches or not, if the daily transactions has been deposited in the banks or not, तो जो भी इंटरेस्ट का पैसा जो आ रहा है वो कितने लोगों का ड्यू है, कितने लोगों का ड्यू नहीं है, इस तरीके के सारे इंफॉर्मेशन वो गैदर करते हैं, उसका रिकॉर्ड रखते हैं। लॉजिस्टिक्स अवेलेबल, लॉजिस्टिक्स से मेरा मतलब है टेबल, चेयर, फैन, कुर्सी, जो भी चाहिए होता है ब्रांचेस में उनको वो सब अवेलेबल है कि नहीं, ये सब तो वो सब बताते हैं, ठीक है। फिर ब्रांच मैनेजर हुए, ब्रांच मैनेजर क्या करते हैं, ब्रांचेस को ऑपरेट करते हैं। डेली जो ट्रांजेक्शंस होता है, कितने लोग डिफॉल्ट हो रहे हैं, कितने लोग पेमेंट करने में डिफॉल्ट हो रहे हैं और कितने लोग को कितना पेमेंट करना है, कितने लोगों से कितना पेमेंट लेना है, इंटरेस्ट रेट पे कितना इंटरेस्ट लेना है, वो सब। और डेली का जो एंड ऑफ द डे जो पेमेंट कलेक्शन हुआ होता है उसको बैंक्स में जाके डिपॉजिट करना, ये सब काम होता है ब्रांच मैनेजर्स का। एफओस को बताना, यानी फील्ड ऑफिसर्स को बताना दैट दे हैव टू गो टू द फील्ड एंड दे हैव टू what is the target of on a daily basis for the field officers, like आपको क्या टारगेट है, how many groups you need to make and of course the NBFCs distribute loans in the groups, groups of people, groups of women. Those groups में divide loan distribute होता है. तो ये सब चीजें होती हैं. फिर होता है district manager. District manager looks after upper level, like कितने लोग कितने branches हैं, उन सब में branches में properly ये सारे functions हो रहे हैं कि नहीं हो रहे हैं, ये काम करना, ये काम देखना district manager का काम होता है. तो district manager looks after if the branches which falls under his territory or her territory is working properly or not, right? Then there is an operations में आते हैं MIS. So MIS looks after MIS keep the records of everything. If anything has to be recorded, or how many stationaries has been provided to the branches, how many logistics have been provided to the branches. Then if there is any request coming in by the branches to the organization, जो भी request आती है branches से NBFC organization के पास कि हमें ये चीज चाहिए, like what all the needs which has to be fulfilled. So at that particular point of time, MIS comes in and MIS initiate that process कि इनको इनके needs के हिसाब से सब कुछ मिल जाए. एक तो ये MIS का काम हुआ. दूसरा ये होता है कि how many loans are being default. अब ये loans कितना default हो रहा है, कितना कितने लोगों का interest rate पे कितने लोग default होते जा रहे हैं, उनका एक particular क्या बोलते हैं लिस्ट बना के ब्रांच मैनेजर्स को देना. ये काम भी MIS का होता है. उसके बाद आते हैं ऑपरेशंस मैनेजर्स ओवर हियर. ऑपरेशन मैनेजर जो होते हैं वो बेसिकली और बड़ा लेवल पे देखते हैं. वो बेसिकली देख रहे होते हैं एक पर्टिकुलर रीजन के लिए देख रहे होते हैं, है ना. उसके बाद आते हैं फिर कुछ इक्विटी साइड में लोग होते हैं. वो ये देखते हैं कि जब इन्वेस्टमेंट आता है तो इन्वेस्टमेंट किस तरीके से आ रहा है, किस तरीके से चैनलाइज हो रहा है, कितना इन्वेस्टमेंट आना चाहिए. इन्वेस्टमेंट लाने के लिए क्या पोर्टफोलियो NBFC का इनको दिखाना पड़ेगा इन्वेस्टर्स को. They have to show certain portfolio to the investors that this is the portfolio of this NBFCs and why certain investors should be investing into that particular NBFC. So there comes in equity people, right? तो इस तरीके से होता है. Equity people के लिए they hire equity people, but then they hire equity people with experience. They do not hire someone who are freshers, because they want someone to first have to go through this process, who should know how this banks works, and then who is ready to take this, and who has certain knowledge, and then who is ready to take this equity thing. तो इस तरीके से पूरा एक NBFC का एक पूरा एक चैनल होता है. This should be your homework. आपको ये समझना चाहिए कितनी NBFCs रन कर रही हैं. अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं कितनी NBFCs हैं जो मार्केट में अवेलेबल हैं, तो आप लोगों को पता है there are lot many NBFCs which is working in, so
sir. Sir, Muthoot Finance,
okay,
Tata Consultancy Finance, I think, and Mahindra Limited Finance, Bajaj Finance. These all are the NBFCs.
A lot many. Now these are just a few names in the list. The list is a very long. This is a very long list of NBFCs. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So don't worry over this. There are a lot many companies which are hiring for certain roles, but then again, hiring हम बाद में देखेंगे. पहले you should be knowing, like if suppose say you belong to Delhi NCR region, or you belong to Uttar Pradesh region, or you belong to Tamil Nadu region, then what are the NBFCs functional over there? You should be knowing about it, right? And then what exactly the functions of NBFCs are, ये भी आपको थोड़ा पढ़ना चाहिए. How does this started, right? So this is something which you should be knowing it, and this should be your homework. ठीक है? Which of course definitely हमारा next meet जब भी होगा, maybe after a month or after 2 months, I'll definitely ask you, all these things. Okay. Next time you should be explaining me what exactly the NBFCs are, how they operate, and how they work. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Sure, sir.
Are we done?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Rajat, I'm leaving the meeting.
Good.